Okay, welcome back to another episode of Third and 23. I'm your host, Alex, here to bring you another pick and prediction video. We're talking wild card round of the NFL playoffs. As you can see, my regular season record, ATS record, 33 and 30, so just over 50%, about 52% ATS accuracy. Goal is always 60%. Obviously, it didn't come close to hitting that, but let's see if we can turn it around in these playoffs and get a little closer to what I expect. But by the way, keep in mind, I'm going to give you a prediction for every game, what I believe is going to happen for every game. But there's going to be a difference in units that I would put down on each one of these games, and I'll give you an idea of which games I feel more confident in than others. All right, let's go ahead and get into the analysis. We're going to start out with the LA Rams visiting the Carolina Panthers. This is a rematch. If you guys remember, this is somewhere around midseason. The Rams had won 6 straight games, I believe, headed into Carolina and lost 31-28, a big upset. In that game, the Rams threw a pick six and then down 31-28 late. They had an opportunity to tie or take a lead with a touchdown. They had another turnover there. So you can make the argument there was a 10 to 14 point swing there. I don't know if that's going to happen 2 games in a row. Looking at this, it's very unlikely that the worst team in the playoffs, the Carolina Panthers, are going to sweep the LA Rams, a legitimate Super Bowl contender. So it's really all about, can the Rams cover the 10? The Rams, 7th in rushing yards per game this season. Supposed to say rushing yards per game this season. 5th in success rate over the last 3 weeks. So the run game was strong early with Kyren Williams, strong middle, and it's been strong coming into the playoffs. The Panthers' running game on the opposite side of that, though, they were led by Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard. But you guys remember they were balling early in the season, especially Rico Dowdle. It's been declining over the last 3 weeks. And when I say 3 weeks, I'm usually talking about weeks 15 to 17, unless I let you know, because obviously week 18, a lot of backups play. But 42% success rate, negative 0.02 EPA per rush in the last 3 weeks. So they're sliding coming into these playoffs. You got Bryce Young. Overall on the season, not very good. I'll admit, he's playing better coming down the stretch, but playing better from playing terrible, that's not really making that much of an impact for me. So when I'm looking at the Panthers offense, I'm not seeing a lot of plays being made by them offensively. So now it's about, can their defense keep the Rams under wraps enough for their plus 10 to hit? Matthew Stafford, 3.7% sack rate, 3rd in the league. 33% pressure rate allowed, 4th in the league. The Panthers have had the worst pass rush in the NFL the entire season. 29% pressure rate. So now I see Stafford, he's sitting back. He already got balance with the running game with Kyren Williams, who should have a good game. Now he's going to be sitting back, and he gets Devontae Adams back against a pass defense for Carolina that's also trending down coming into these playoffs. I don't see how this game isn't a blowout. Go ahead and give me the Rams. I'm going to lay the 10. I'd like it more at 9.5. I mean, we are talking about the NFL here, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Rams and lay the 10. All right, going on to the next game. We've got the Green Bay Packers visiting the Chicago Bears, division rivals. Packers coming in this as a 1.5-point favorite. The Bears used to be the favorite. Money came in on Green Bay. That swung the line the other way. So both of these teams split this year. Both the home teams won. Green Bay won at home 28-21. Chicago won at home 22-16 in overtime. But in that game, Jordan Love was lost to a concussion in the second quarter. Malik Willis played well enough to win the game 16-9. And then Chicago recovers a miraculous onside kick, and then the rest is history. They win the game in overtime. I want to note, though, sometimes, you got to look at how teams coming into the playoffs at times, right? You're getting Jordan Love back, that's true. But the Packers ended the regular season with 4 straight losses. And I want to point something out that maybe a lot of people don't know. Ever since Micah Parsons went down, the defense metrics have slid, but they've also lost every game since he went down. They lost to Denver, lost to Chicago. Yeah, they're starting a backup quarterback against Baltimore, but Baltimore's starting a backup quarterback too. Tyler Huntley beat in Green Bay. Tyler Huntley won that game by 17. And then they lose the finale, practice squad guys in, so that doesn't really matter. But still, you're going into this game having lost 4 straight. So Jordan Love coming back, can he get them off the mat? The biggest factor in this game for me is running game. Chicago's running game with DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai, 3rd-ranked rush offense in the league in terms of yards per game. Coming into the playoffs, top 5 in EPA, success rate, and explosives. Green Bay coming into the playoff, their rush defense, remember, no Micah, 5 yards per carry allowed, 53.6% success rate allowed, and 26 in explosive runs allowed. I didn't think I would have picked this, honestly, when I first started doing these videos, but go ahead and give me Chicago with the +1.5. This is going to be a tight game. I think the Bears being able to run the ball is going to be the biggest difference in this one. All right, moving on to the next game. We've got the Bills visiting the Jags. Bills are a 1-point favorite. This is a popular upset pick if you're looking at all the prognosticators out there, all the talking heads out there. A lot of them are on Jacksonville. A lot of people picking Jacksonville in this game. Jags have won, 8 or 9 straight games coming into the playoffs. AFC South champs. Trevor Lawrence is the talk of the town, right? Talk of the league in some respects. We look at this game, I look at it in a couple different factors. One, it's the Bills offense versus the Jags defense. You got Josh Allen at quarterback. He's top 10 in every passing metric out there and has had a great year also running the football, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He also has the league's leading rusher in the backfield with him in James Cook. And they've been consistent all year. They were great early, middle, and late in the year coming into these playoffs. The Jags, though, #1 ranked rush defense in the league in terms of yards per game. Coming into the playoffs, they weren't that good, but still pretty strong outside of success rate, 22nd in the league, 47.9% allowed coming into these playoffs. And then you got their pass defense, top 3 in yards per attempt, one of the top pass defenses in the NFL. So great defense versus great offense. The Bills have a strong pass defense, so I don't think Trevor Lawrence, his metrics aren't really that good. They're kind of middle of the pack to below average. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a great game passing the ball against Buffalo. So it's going to be about, can the Jags take advantage of one of the worst run defenses in the NFL? Bills 30th in EPA per attempt, dead last in explosives and success rate allowed. But the early season Jags that we saw with ATN kind of cooking a little, that has really tailed off. That has really slowed down. Last 3 games, weeks 15 through 17, 26th in explosives, 23rd in EPA per rush in those last 3 games. They're really not looking that strong running the football. So when I look at this, I'm saying I don't think the Jags should be able to run the ball, but not to the degree that you might think, not hitting the big chunk plays that you might think. So really, is Josh Allen better than Trevor Lawrence? Of course he is. So are the Jags going to shut down Josh Allen all game? No. Are they going to shut down James Cook all game? No. This isn't the 2000 Baltimore Ravens, in my opinion. That's a defense I respect, and they play well at home, but they're not that good. I think it's going to be a closer game, but go ahead and give me the Bills. And I'm going to lay the 1. Obviously, this is just basically a pick of who do you think is going to win. I think the Bills are going to win this game. So I'm going against all those upset picks out there. All right, going to the next game. We got the 49ers visiting the Eagles. This is the game where I've seen the most line movement. I've caught it at 4.5, but this spread has ballooned up to 6, so a lot of people on Philadelphia. I can tell you right now, I am too. So we look at this game. You're talking Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley. If you don't watch the games, if you don't know anything about stats or anything like that, you would probably not know that McCaffrey and Saquon had terrible rushing numbers for a good portion of the season, especially the first half of the year. Both of these running backs were struggling. These running games were at the bottom of the totem pole in terms of stats, metrics, analytics, anything you want to look at this season. Coming down the stretch, though, McCaffrey has played better, but Saquon and this Eagles offense has really played better. Last 3 weeks, 157 yards per game, top 5 in EPA per attempt, and an explosive rate. The 49ers run defense in that same time, dead last in stuff rate, 30th in EPA per attempt, dead last in explosives allowed. So now I'm seeing, well, the Eagles are definitely offensively are going to control the line of scrimmage and hit some chunk plays on the ground. To counteract that, the 49ers are going to have to hit some plays through the air. Brock Purdy, weeks 15 through 17, on fire, first in basically every single passing metric out there. But that's against the Titans, trash. The Colts pass defense, the Colts, a dead team dying, and the Bears defense, which their pass defense isn't very good. In week 18, with the #1 seed on the line, playing against Seattle and at home, Brock Purdy, 3 points, 4.7 yards per attempt, 1 pick, and 127 yards passing. The Eagles are a lot closer to that. The Eagles have kind of turned back the clock to the Super Bowl year last season. First in explosives, success rate, and EPA allowed in those last 3 weeks. I'm seeing Brock Purdy look a lot closer to what he looked like against Seattle than he did against Tennessee, for example. So now I'm saying the Eagles controlling the tempo with their running game. The 49ers, when the Eagles are passing the ball, the 49ers are dead last in the league in sack rate. So I see Jalen Hurts, who's been mediocre this season, but still finding some ability to make some plays to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, keeping that balance for Philly's offense. The 49ers are going to have to keep pace with that. And if Purdy isn't cooking, the 49ers offense isn't going to do much in this game. So go ahead and give me the Eagles, and I'm going to lay the 4.5. I think the Eagles win this one comfortably. All right, moving on to the next game. We've got the LA Chargers visiting the New England Patriots. Patriots come in this game as a 3.5-point favorite. So we're talking Drake May. Is he going to win MVP? He's top 3 in every single quarterback metric out there. And it's going against the Chargers pass defense that was strong for 3/4 of the year, but all of a sudden coming down the stretch, coming into the playoffs, they're looking a little below average, as you see on the screen with these below average metrics, right? Dak Prescott pieced them up. Cowboys lost by 17, but Dak pieced them up. And C.J. Stroud made some big plays, and Nico Collins and the young wide receivers they got. So something's happening there within LA Chargers pass defense. But on the flip side, the Patriots defense, both stopping the run and the pass, average at best. Justin Herbert, yeah, 8.8% sack rate. That's one of the reasons Herbert's numbers this season have been pretty mediocre. Sack rate, pressure rate. They played the whole season basically with backup offensive tackles, but the Patriots don't rush the passer either. 5.3% sack rate is 23rd in the league. So I see Herbert with time to throw. He's got a better wide receiving core than Drake May has. So I think Herbert's going to be able to balance out what Drake May is doing. And then lastly, the Patriots, while great year, not taking nothing away from them, easiest schedule in the league. They're the only team in the league with a sub 400 strength of schedule this year. The Chargers have battled through injuries to O-line to running back, and they still went 11-6 and made it to the playoffs. So I'm not saying that the Chargers are going to be able to go across the country and win this game, but one thing I don't do is lay 3.5 points in the NFL. I don't do that anymore. So I'm taking the Chargers with a plus 3.5, and I would not be shocked if they won this game. I think this is going to be a close football game. All right, and lastly, we've got the Houston Texans visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Texans come into this as a 3-point favorite. This is a tough one to pick. This is one of my lowest unit bets that I'm gonna make in the first. Well, this is my lowest unit bet I'm gonna make in the wild card round. This has all the makings of a boring snooze fest of a game. You got the Houston Texans offense, the worst rush offense in the NFL. 31st in EPA, 27th in success rate, and they've gotten worse. That's over the season. They've gotten worse over the last month of the year. The run defense for Pittsburgh, they've allowed weeks 15 through 17, allowed 2.9 yards per carry, first in the league, 28% stuff rate, first in the league, success rate, first in the league, and that's against Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. I believe the other another running back they faced was Jonathan Taylor for the Colts. I'm forgetting the other running back. I believe it was Jonathan Taylor. So they shut down some strong running backs. So this Pittsburgh rush defense looking strong. Then in the finale against Baltimore, starters are in. They did get ran on by Derrick Henry for $120. Houston doesn't have a Derrick Henry though. So I don't think Houston's rush offense is going anywhere. So now forget balance. They're not going to have it. You're going to have C.J. Stroud throwing to Nico Collins and those young guys against an average at best Pittsburgh secondary. So Stroud should find some plays through the air and be able to hit some plays. Aaron Rodgers on the flip side, he's not going to do anything. Pittsburgh's not going to have any balance. Aaron Rodgers is bottom tier metrics across the board in every sense. His average depth of target is 5.9. That is 40th out of 40 eligible quarterbacks going against a Houston pass defense that might be the best in the league. So they're not passing the ball against Houston. So now what's going to happen is either Houston's run game, what do you believe in more? Houston's run game that's hot. You guys seen Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren hot coming into these playoffs against a Houston run defense that is kind of faded a little bit coming into these playoffs. So Pittsburgh should be able to run it. Houston should be able to throw it. Which do you believe more? I'm a line of scrimmage kind of guy. So I'm going to take Steelers with a +3. I'm not saying they're going to win. I don't know if they're going to win. I'd like it more if it was 3.5. But I think Steelers are going to own both lines of scrimmage when they're on offense and on defense. So I'm going to favor Pittsburgh slightly in this game, also being at home. But this is a very low unit play. So anyways, that wraps it up If you like the content, please like, comment, subscribe, all of that, as you're going to see more pick and predictions that we get considered as we continue through these NFL playoffs. Take care.